A coffin. Yes, today we are taking this generic Oreo birthday cake and turning it into a wicked Halloween coffin. Inspired by the icing artist and my color scheme inspiration, Sherry Wilson. I love the way this turned out, so let's get started. Welcome to Koalipops. My name is Childish Gambino. Let's get into this cake. Now to start this cake off, I'm going to take off all the Oreos and all the maraschino cherries on top of this cake. I was going to use them later on when I was decorating the cake, but I ended up eating them because, you know, no self-control, and who can resist a maraschino cherry and some Oreos? I'm also going to take off all of the piles of icing on the top of this cake and just flatten the cake out. And then I'm going to add my coffin stencil on top and just cut out the edges. Now I got the Oreo cake because I love Oreo cake and I knew there was going to be a ton of cake scraps, and none of these cake scraps, you guys, went to waste. This is exactly why my weight gain can only be attributed to one thing: poor diet. All these cake scraps. Now after I pulled away all my cake scraps, I started to add some buttercream on the sides. The Oreo buttercream on top actually isn't even buttercream, it's whipped cream. So I thought I would use real buttercreams just to give this cake a little bit more stability. The whipped cream, as soon as it becomes room temperature, it's super soft. I can't really rely on that, so I'm gonna have to add stability with my buttercream. After that, I used my stencil to create the lid of my coffin with some purple fondant. Again, very simple shape, didn't really have to worry about that. And I didn't have to worry about this part either. Originally I was gonna customize pieces, but then I remembered all of these super fancy Wilton's molds that I have. It made decorating this coffin so easy. Now if you're looking for some colorful cake inspirations, make sure you head over to Sherry Wilson's Instagram. Look at it, look at everything, it is stunning. Whenever I'm making a colorful cake, I always look at her Instagram and try to see what colors would complement the main color I'm looking at. Everything she creates is so vibrant, even black. She makes black look like it's the brightest color in the world. So make sure you follow her. Now back to the cake. Now after I finished decorating the top of this cake, I started to panel fondant on the sides with thick pieces of fondant. You got it. I tried to make the fondant as thick as wood panels that you would use to create an actual coffin. I'm just paneling it on the sides and then just cutting it to be the perfect size. Oh, I feel like a little bit of a fondant carpenter, except the jigs and the joints don't fit correctly because I'm not that good. But that's alright because I'm going to hide it with all the detail that I add to the bottom of this cake. I'm using some leftover purple fondant and lining the bottom with it. I'm just using this to hold up the pearl fondant beading that I created with my Wilton's mold. Probably about 1/4 of an inch up. Now I'm using my fondant molds also to cover the seams of the cake. I got these fondant molds from Wish. You know Wish, the app where you buy things and they come 30 days later or not at all sometimes. So dependable, right? After I finished that, I took my serrated knife and I cut my cake board so you wouldn't be able to see it. I actually did cut into my countertop just a little bit. I should have been more careful, but I wasn't. Now I marked the inside of my coffin with my stencil so that I could have some sprinkles peeking out. Originally I was going to cover the entire top of this cake with sprinkles, but then I remembered how expensive they were, so I'm going to use them sparingly. To save me some moolah, I decided to add some piles of frosting so that the lid of my coffin can rest on top of them. And then I started to add some gumballs and some sprinkles to the open parts of the coffin. Those sprinkles look bomb, right? And I'm gonna finish this cake off with two things. First, I'm gonna write RIP. I was gonna put RIP 2020, but then I realized that we've said goodbye to a lot of things this year. So this is for everybody. I'm probably also gonna pour a shout out for everything and everyone we lost this year too. Now last but definitely not least, I'm going to add some drip with some royal icing. And just sprinkle some more sprinkles on top of that. And voila, my Halloween coffin was complete. You definitely can't tell that this is a generic Oreo grocery store cake. And you probably have already guessed that this cake was inspired by everything that's on Sherry Wilson's Instagram. Now I'm excited to show you the rest of my Halloween content this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you. I'll see you very soon. Bye.